Hi everyone, I wanted to come on here today and make a video talking about ego. Ego has been so prevalent, so loud, so on the surface of our reality within the past week, and it continues to arise more and more as we download and receive larger amounts of light. So everything is coming to the surface, and these egoic structures that had such a large hold on us, large hold on our reality, the way that we presented ourselves, the way that we showed up in the world, they're no longer able to be held in place. So everything is rising to the surface and sort of dismantling itself because those structures can simply no longer exist. And I've been really fascinated with my entire process for this entire past 1 week. I've really made it a point to try to stay off social media, to not post anything, to not really be engaged as much, because I recognized the ego and I recognized its need and its desire to identify and to be validated and to be doing something so that it can feel of importance. And my strategy with the ego is to always starve it and not to feed it. So when I notice these waves of ego really being prominent and coming up so strongly, where I feel, okay, I really need to be doing something, I need to be doing this or that, this big sense of doing is like a big red flag that, okay, this is the ego that constantly needs to be doing something, that constantly needs to be identifying with something, that constantly is seeking for that external validation, something always outside of itself. So when I notice these patterns, these programs that are hyperactive within my being, I choose to really take a step back and to become the compassionate witness, to witness my process, to witness my experience without reacting to it. So there have been so many instances within the past couple of weeks where there was such a strong pull. There was a strong pull to really be engaging my ego within these external programs that ultimately bring you deeper into the matrix. So it has been a challenge to really recognize it, to identify it, and to actively choose from a sovereign place to not engage in it, because these temptations of the ego, these deep, powerful pulls on the ego, can be very strong, and they can mask themselves in unbelievable ways. So I really wanted to come on here and talk about the ego because I've been experiencing so much of it recently, and really talking about what is the ego. So anything that you identify yourself as is likely stemming from the ego. Any desires that are within the material world is likely stemming from the ego, because these are all just programs that are placed there to continuously keep us busy. Okay, so to continuously keep us busy and to keep us engaged and to keep us in this mode of doing. And this not only translates from the mainstream structures of society, this also goes deeply into the spiritual aspects. So if we look at our spiritual communities, if we look at the spiritual world and what is happening within that realm, we can see almost the exact same template, except that it has a lens of spirituality on top of it. So this is just another layer of illusion that can really throw people off, because if we just add a spiritual lens to anything, then people can sort of be deceived all over again. And these are all just really profound, deep workings of the ego, which is essentially a program that is built within this mind body in our experience. And we really need to be cognizant of it. We really need to recognize it when it's active so that we can put it outside and come into a space where we can actually create from our soul essence. And there's a big difference between creation and manifestation. So manifestation has never really sat well with me, and recently in my process I'm really understanding and coming into a deeper concept and realization of what it means to create. Like, what is creation? And I was watching a video yesterday, and I heard this man speaking about, manifestation just being this idea of recycling. And that resonated so deeply with me because when there's manifestation, it's like you're already using something that exists, calling it through you, and basically replicating another person's experience through your own reality. So it's this like cookie cutter program that gets replicated and replicated and replicated, and actually drives people deeper into the ego, deeper into the desires, deeper into this sense that nothing is enough. So the ego is always striving and looking to achieve, and once it achieves a specific goal, it wants to achieve even more, and it's like nothing is ever enough. And there's this endless striving and this endless sense that you need to be achieving something, and that you need more and more and more and more. So it's kind of like the addiction programming as well. So it's just really fascinating for us to recognize our egos when they're at play, really tune in to the desires and what we're engaging in, and where is this stemming from. Is this stemming from an idea of an identity that I wish to be fulfilling because I think that it is so validated and valued externally from the society's point of view, and putting on this critical lens as to where all of our actions are stemming from, where are the desires stemming from, what are we being so pulled into, where is this draw towards something. So it has been a fascinating process, a painful process, because the more we identify with the ego, the more deeper we go into these illusions and away from who we really are. So it's really important to be so aware in each moment and recognize when these programs are active, so that we can choose to simply witness them from an equanimous state without reacting to them. And this, of course, can be difficult because it can bring up anxiety. I know from my experience, taking this whole week and choosing not to engage in these egoic desires that we're seeking validation from externally, that were telling me like, oh, you really need to be doing this or you need to be doing that. But choosing to starve that, of course, we experience anxiety, but it's learning to use our tools to regulate ourselves, to be that witness, and to know that we just need to clear all of this programming so we can embody our highest self, so we can embody our soul and then create from that space, as opposed to manifesting from the ego, creating from the ego, because it is giving you a sense of unease, a sense of anxiety if you're not following its directions, following its orders. So we really want to be stepping away from the ego and not allowing the ego to run our reality. Even though it is so convincing and it is going to convince us, okay, we're going to be so happy if we achieve this, if we manifest this, it will never be enough. So this is my stance and my experience for the last week or so, profoundly the last week, but it's really ongoing. And I just hope to remind everyone to just notice and to be really critical of these programs, because they are powerful and they are very intelligent and sneaky. So we have to really be aware and really be mindful and use our tools to regulate ourselves when they do come up, so that we can choose to not engage and go further into the illusions, further into the matrix. Okay, so blessings, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. So much love.